Hello everyone, my name is Sylwia Gawrajek and this is Valley Talks. Today we're at Runway Incubator here in the Twitter building in the center of San Francisco. I'm very excited to welcome Tomasz Kolodziejak, co-founder of Neuroon, the first intelligent sleep mask. Neuroon had largely succeeded in Kickstarter campaign at the beginning of 2014. Today they are selling thousands of masks to people worldwide. Hello Tomasz, it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. I've been called many different names. You got it right for the first time. Tomasz, Tom works. So thanks for letting me introduce.
Sure. Previously Neuroon was helping to switch from monophasic sleep to polyphasic sleep. Today it also helps you to sleep better, but in a different way. How does it actually work?
Sure. So what we are, our company, IntelliClinic Neuroon, what we do is help young people and busy professionals hack their sleep. So it's still in the polyphasic, monophasic area. We help them hack sleep, or as we call it, adjust to 21st century needs. How do we do it? We use a sleep mask, so something that a lot of people that sleep have been used to cover the light coming in.
Okay.
And we make the sleep mask smart. So think of it like an iWatch, Apple Watch made it smart. We do it with the actual mask. So we have a proprietary technology here, applied with light therapy to adjust your body clock to your needs.
What's the best application of Neuroon?
Sure, so the easiest to explain is actually jet lag. Let's say you're traveling from San Francisco to Amsterdam, you have 9-hour difference, we can minimize the jet lag, the time you adjust your body clock, so your internal body that is telling you when to fall asleep, when to wake up, we can adjust it much quicker. The other examples is you say, for example, you're a student, you have to study all night, you have to adjust your body that you can sleep much later, right? Sleep the next day, full day, and then study prior night. So we can hack the sleep. That's our goal as a company, to be able to adjust it to whatever your needs may be.
Can you give us a little sneak peek of how it actually works? How does it do it? It sounds like magic, but
sure.
Tell me more.
So I'll explain the magic. So two important things. In the sleep mask, we have a smart pack that picks up your biological signals, so your vitals. Those allow us to detect your sleep and give you a reliable feedback. So you're probably familiar with all the wrist trackers, right? So Fitbits, Jawbones, all that kind of stuff. They give you good advice, but the signal is not reliable. If you actually go to medical devices, you have electrodes strapped to your head. So what we tried to do is minimize that just to fit your face and put it that we get the reliable signal. So what we measure from the forehead your EEG signal, your muscle tension, eyeball movement. We also have a pulse oximeter to detect your oxygenation in your blood. And then we apply light therapy, that's the active component to help you with sleeping.
Does it work right away, or do you need some training before it actually gives the effect?
So we hope our UX is easy enough that you don't need training. It's obviously accompanied to a smartphone application, so iPhone or Android. All the instructors are inside the box, but it's pretty intuitive. The way you would set it up, let's say, as a normal alarm clock. So you set it up, I want to wake up at 7 a.m. This is when I'll usually fall asleep, and this is when I want to wake up.
What's your competition in that space? You're the first intelligent sleep mask. Is there any other device that's similar to yours, or
Sure.
not really?
So depending how you look at the competition, right? If it's just wearables, so all the wrist trackers would be somewhat competitive to us. They don't provide the reliable signal. You need your forehead to actually get the signal that you can treat and analyze. Another thing, they don't provide any active components, so it's just measuring. Everybody's past that. Measuring wearables, they're kind of boring. People put them in the shelf and it's done. When you look at light boxes, that's another competition. So we combine the precise measurements from your forehead with light therapy. So the second layer of competition would be light boxes or light goggles. And this has been around in medicine for about last 10 years. Nobody took it to a consumer and made it more, day-to-day thing. So you can buy many light boxes on Amazon or light goggles. They're available. None of them do this therapy at night. So it's really cumbersome to get adjusted.
At what point did you decide to pivot from the polyphasic sleep practice to light therapy? How did you discover that this is the better path?
Sure, so that was during campaign. So we figured polyphasic sleep, it's something we're still excited about. It's a niche market, and not many people have the biological capabilities to do that. In our defense, we still hack sleep. We help you sleep at a different times that you can, take power naps, adjust your body clock when you travel, all these things. It's just polyphasic, we believe, wasn't for us. Down the line, we'll incorporate some feature of polyphasic sleep. It just consumer has to be mindful that it's, particular biological capabilities allow, some famous polyphasic sleeper like Einstein to just sleep short intervals during the day and be restful.
All right, let's talk about the Kickstarter campaign. You guys told the story really well. It gained such a massive attention, and all the top tech websites were writing about you. You also won the prestigious Le Web Award in Paris during the campaign.
Right, right.
Did you expect this huge interest?
No, not at all. In fact, we were one of the first in that region successful campaigns in Poland, obviously running an American portal. No, we didn't. Our goal was 100,000. Now looking at the video, it seems really amateur.
I know, yeah. And the 100,000, you raised it in one day, right?
In one day, yeah. So
how did it happen? Tell me.
I guess there was a need for the product. That's what we think, and it was very real. We weren't lying. We weren't doing any PR or marketing. We were just, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Help us out.
And how did you react to it? Were you ready for this interest? I bet when you have such a big interest and you don't expect it, there are some problems that are appearing. How did it look like?
Yeah, I mean, we were very happy. The first day was totally a shocker. The next just continued. It helped us. Le Web was during that time. We won first place in hardware devices. So that was a huge achievement, and helped us with all the contacts, clinical contacts. So we're currently running clinical trials. We're a consumer device, but we want to prove the efficacy of light therapy in our mask through the clinic. So we have a clinic in Michigan, Henry Ford Hospital, one of the biggest sleep clinics in the US. So this contact actually came from Le Web. Somebody saw it and they reached out to us, hey, we've been in that space, can we help you out, what you're doing? We obviously needed some full-time doctors that have done sleep for a long time. And is this also how the pivoting idea started? Yeah, they suggested many things. What's really possible, and they've been working on the device called Zio many years ago. I don't know if you're familiar. There was a device just measured sleep. They raised tremendous amount of money and then went bankrupt. We figured they first didn't have the active component, and it was many years ago. There was no smartphones. That type of technology wasn't ready. And so these guys at the clinic helped Zio with the reliability of the signal. So it was a perfect match for us. And since then, we've been working with them, did a lot of trials and seeing how the product works. But I'm thinking about the Kickstarter campaign. What happened to that, since you couldn't really change the message during the campaign, could you? I don't think so. We did, yeah. If you look at the blog, so from very beginning we said, hey, if you want a refund, we're tweaking, we're still hacking sleep. Just hacking is kind of a broad topic. We're trying to do it in different ways that are plausible. We plan to incorporate the polyphasic sleep, and still, if you want to sleep polyphasically, this mask will definitely help you, the one that is being shipped. It's not only for polyphasic sleep, but it helps you adjust to that schedule. And how did you manage the reaction of your customers from Kickstarter? Because you had to, in a short time, explain to them why this happened. And I can imagine that some of them were expecting that they would start sleeping just 2 hours a day, and now it's going to a different direction. How did you deal with this? Because this is a real problem that many Kickstarter campaigns experience. So we didn't sleep. We were just online the whole time. We used a variety of tools. We did Skypes with the backers. We called many of them that had large concerns. Email, blogging. It was easy for media to say, hey, this is this device, you'll sleep 2 hours, 3 hours. And they want something that is short message. The reality, even with polyphasic sleep, you might sleep 2 hours in different intervals. So you still have longer, your 24 hours is longer, you don't sleep as long as you would monophasically. But it's divided into 2 hours, 2 hours, and 2 hours. So, there's a trick from the media in some ways. Pivots in startups happen very often. And do you have any thoughts about
comparing pivoting after the Kickstarter campaign to when you're actually funded by investors. Which of them is easier? Because in the Kickstarter campaign, you already have a big audience, you have attention and everything. You need to be explaining to many more people.
As long as you're not, completely going away from your focus, I think it's fair. And, your backers can help you out. Many of them got really engaged. They said, this is great. Instead of getting a product that might not work for me because I don't have the biological capabilities, I'll have something that will be really reliable. Many companies pivot, they say you shouldn't pivot at the very beginning. Just adjust, pivots are kind of popular. If you pivot all the time, you'll be going in circles. For example, a company called Lark, they did a strap that measured sleep, and then they pivot completely to artificial intelligence. So that's a huge pivot. For us, it was kind of adjusting for what we can, given the more research on what's available, what's possible, really.
So when you knew you're going into different direction, you also knew that it will take more time for you guys to probably figure out things and produce the product, since you had the design for something a little different. How about financials during that time? You raised money from Kickstarter. Was it enough for you to be sustaining the company operations for a longer time than you expected?
Definitely not. If you ask someone outside of Silicon Valley, they say, $500,000, plenty of money. Then if you talk to people in Silicon Valley, they're like, $500,000 for hardware?
It's nothing,
you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
So hiring the team, hiring the right people, the right engineers, In our co-founding team, my background is business econ, so I can't really speak to doing technical stuff. But our CTO, Janusz, is a PhD in electronics, so he has knowledge in how to craft products. His thesis was involved in a clunky device that measured brainwaves. And Camille, as you know, was a medical student, and did 4 years of sleep analysis. But obviously you have 3 people, and then you need qualified people that could do the engineering, you need the manufacturing, and so on. So it's a huge process. You're on top of the world, you're super happy, you raise this money, and then you have to deliver. So it really doesn't last very long. It's maybe a week that you're super happy, and then you're trying to figure out, okay, how I'm going to do all this in this short amount of time.
Yeah, now the problems come out, right?
Yeah, and for us, it was quite a big deal because, first of all, you have something on your face. It has to be very comfortable. So the design, we had the initial PCB, all this was made out of plastic. And then we dipped it in silicone because you can sleep on the side, if you're not just taking power naps. Many people sleep on their face, so it has to be really comfortable. And then, the signals have to be reliable. So if you shake, so we had to work on some algorithms. If the electrodes move, so we can patch that, area that we didn't get the accurate signal for an hour, half hour, whatever it may be. So there's really a lot of challenges. We had to cover all your face. The design has to be slick, so we work on different covers. There's many more coming, as you see in the box. The app, also the UX has to be easy. So it's like a whole monster of things that you have to tackle, but it's great fun and really exciting.
I can imagine, but how did you actually manage to do this with the 500K? Did you look for investors right after the campaign? How did you physically make it happen? Yeah,
so many different ways you can raise capital. Friends, fools, and family is one of them. Obviously, small investors. You can actually sell the product too, right? So crowdfunding, you can also sell the product and gain revenue that way. Before Kickstarter, we received a small seed fund from Hard Gamma Ventures. So that was kind of a way just to even start the Kickstarter and build the prototype. Afterwards, we were able to pre-sell a lot of the devices, get some financials as well. So since then, we've raised quite a bit more to be able to develop the product further. And currently, we're looking at different models to raise more money. We're not announcing it, but it's something exciting, similar to crowdfunding. You'll probably see in a few weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So you did not raise money from investors in the meantime. Did you talk to them at all?
Oh yes, we have. We've raised a small bridge round that we haven't announced the size and so on. But we're in touch with the investors. First of all, we want to see the product on the market, and the investors do too. and the evaluation is just a huge difference. So we waited on that. We had enough to make the product, to advertise it, to do some market research and so on. So that was enough to do that job.
There are 23 employees in your company. Where
Correct.
are they based? Is it Poland? Is it United States?
Right. So as you know, all the founders are Polish. So we're an American company based in Silicon Valley with a huge R&D in Warsaw. So a sales office in San Francisco, and also all the development is done in Poland.
How about hiring people? After the campaign, there was just a couple of you.
Yep.
Who were you looking for first? How did you do the hiring process, and what incentives could you actually give to your employees?
Sure. So in Europe, it's not that common for startups. Not that easy to hire. We had the advantage of being kind of a lot in the media. We were invited to a lot of the talks because it was the biggest Kickstarter campaign in that part of Europe then. So we looked obviously for engineers, and Janusz, the CTO, he was doing his PhD and lecturing part-time before at the Polytechnic. So it's kind of easy to get his friends or the people he's done some projects with.
So you wanted engineers first, so that they would build the app or the mask?
Both. So we had some people on board. The iOS came first. So Robert was there. So we started with producing the MVP. So the business hires are later, obviously. Clearly, startup is like putting a plane together while it's flying at the same time.
Exactly.
So you're kind of doing the whole thing at once. So the app developers were first, engineers. So doing the actual hardware, and obviously the algorithms for sleep. So once we got the signal, we have to interpret it.
You manufacture in Poland.
Correct. One of the few hardware startups, I think. Everybody goes through hacks, goes to Shenzhen, and spends a good amount of time there. We're different. We think it was a good way to do it. One of the big Polish startups, Estimote, that you interviewed, also manufactures there.
Yes.
So we're at the same factory that they are.
Are you?
And near Krakow in Fideltronic. So they do have big operations. They do parts for Toyota and Honda in that part of Europe, and they also have a small section for startups. Hoping they'll grow. It's kind of an investment on their side in some ways.
Did you have to hire people for the manufacture as well, or did they have the ready infrastructure to build the product for you guys?
Yeah, so we had to hire as well people that had some experience with manufacturing. The main factory is Fideltronic, but the silicon is done in a different factory. So you got to adjust all the supply chain. The box is done in a different place. Everything has to fall together. Since then we also have a logistics guy now. We have to ship the product, so we needed someone with experience to do that. And obviously customs come into play, a variety of different things.
And why did you decide to manufacture in Poland?
Well, the best country in Europe.
For sure.
For sure, obviously. Home country for us, for sure. Easy access to engineers. You don't have to fly to Shenzhen every time something goes wrong. And a lot of the times at the very beginning, a lot of things go wrong. Some parts don't fit, or the tester breaks, whatever it may be. So we took that challenge, bet, we can ship the parts from Asia and we can just assemble them in Poland.
Is it overall cheaper for you guys too, or no?
It is cheaper than manufacturing in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
It is more expensive than manufacturing in China. We have full control of the quality. So if you look at the box, we're manufactured in Europe. We think quality, it's a premium product, it's an important thing. It's a short train ride from Warsaw to Krakow. We're there very often. I think the proximity, I think eventually we'll move to China once we scale, for sure.
Once it's a bigger amount of units.
Right. And the IP is also a challenge, right? We filed 3 patents. The intellectual property, it might be difficult to protect there. Some companies claim it's not.
Right.
We decided that way. It's been working for us so far. We'll see. We'll take the move to move to China eventually.
How many of you guys are here in the United States?
So a handful. The co-founders travel back and forth. Obviously, we have about 3 employees in San Francisco downtown. We're growing the team. So look out for maybe some announcements, hopefully soon. Mainly business and marketing is done here. So this is a consumer product, but we're also trying to tackle the hospitality industry for people that are frequent travelers, have to adjust to their time zone, the destination time zone. And we've talked to different hotels here. We think it's a big market for us. Every room should have a Neuroon next to their bed. So we're trying different formats how we could do that. Sanitary reasons are a big one. Just kind of bringing you some interesting details. They want this package that nobody has used it. The staff would sanitize it. You would replace the removable part. So once a consumer comes, they have their own fresh mask. The other B2B that we've been tackling from the very beginning with some good progress is airlines. So obviously, if you fly, you're the best target for us. So we signed LOIs with 4 different airlines to do some sort of partnerships for business and first class users. Those include ANA, a major Japanese carrier, Lufthansa, Qantas, and Virgin Atlantic. Different stages of collaboration, obviously. Hopefully Lufthansa will have their flight in Q2 from Munich to San Francisco, and will be in their Silicon Valley section where you can test out the Neuroon. So hopefully it will come soon, where you can put the mask on, automatically program where you're going, clearly from Munich to San Francisco, and you can see how it works for you.
And you could fly with the mask on as well, or?
Correct. So it works, the mask works when you fall asleep. So the therapy, the light happens when you're sleeping. So if it's a long haul flight, 11 hours, you can use it when you fly or before you fly, depending how you want to adjust or how quickly you want to adjust.
You're the best client of Neuroon as well.
Sure.
Because you're flying all the time,
Yeah.
between Poland and the United States.
Right.
Are you using it every time?
I use it every time. I use it, on weekends. Helps you with your routine. Let's say you wake up normally 7 or 8 o'clock, go to bed at midnight, and then your schedule gets readjusted over the weekend. You party, whatever it may be, so you can readjust yourself. Or I know, there's a 9-hour difference between Poland and San Francisco. I know we'll have a call at 6 a.m. and I want to be fresh for it. I can readjust my body clock for that need. So it's very useful, in our case. We really want to be the new hacking device sleep mask for average consumer, young professionals, anybody that sees it to be helpful.
Your co-founders are Polish as well.
Yep.
How about visas? Was it causing any limit for you guys? Did you have to deal with it at all, or is it no issue?
Yeah, I was lucky. I'm a dual citizen, so that was the lucky thing. The other guys, there's different types of business visas that we're working on. Janusz is most of the time in Poland. He's the technical guy. There's issues, but we think we'll be able to conquer them for sure. We have local employees, in the U.S. as well.
So you can easily apply for let's say investment visa.
Right. Yeah. So definitely, or I can just get married to Kamil.
Oh yeah. No, you can.
That's a joke. We both have girlfriends, so it'd be difficult.
Well, girlfriends, no wives.
No wives. Yeah. Well.
So still less hassle.
Yeah. Sure. I hope the immigration is not listening, because that's clearly illegal. We're establishing.
Yeah, but we are just joking, obviously.
No, clearly. If you see the ring, start getting worried.
Okay. Let's still go back to the making business strategies.
Yep.
After Kickstarter, you had how many pre-orders? I mean, from Kickstarter?
2,000.
2,000. And I know that after that, you found new clients for your new pre-orders, and that's what you mentioned in a way, how you were financing yourselves.
Yep.
How did you find the next clients?
They came organically somehow. We did a lot of media interviews, as you mentioned before. Wall Street Journal, all the big publications covered it, and it found a niche in Asia. Particularly Japan and Tokyo, a lot of the users started buying it. So those were the first clients. In Asia, just light therapy is more known. People obviously have busy schedules. And a funny example, if you go to Tokyo, here in New York City, the traffic in the metro starts around 6 p.m., 5 p.m. If you go to Tokyo, 8 p.m. is the rush hour, or 9 p.m. People work crazy hours. Long story short, they know light therapy a lot more, and they're willing to experiment with different technologies. So we've sold a big number of these units to Japan, and since then travel there. We're looking to open a small office there. We have a partner that we work with, a part-time employee there. So Asia, thanks to Asian region, we've sold a number of those. Europe and US are probably second in terms of sales.
Looking at Neuroon in a bigger picture today, you started it 3 years ago. Did you realize back then that this is going to be such a huge project, so many challenges and really risks involved with it? How do you look at it from now, looking back?
Clearly not. It was just a fun experience that we wanted to try. You learn so much, so it's very accelerated learning. A couple years, you just grow tremendously in terms of just being aware. Some problems that we thought at the beginning of the campaign were big are day-to-day things. Anything goes, a lot of things go wrong and not what you planned. You have to have alternative plans, all these kind of things. It's a day-to-day routine.
And that's how, weeks, months, years pass, and you're growing with it, and you're just not thinking of the problems in the future that may come out. You try to anticipate them, obviously. And one time you're on top of the world. You're Zuckerberg. You're the best person in the world. Had this great idea, and the next day you're like, it's like maybe it won't work out. There's so many problems you have to tackle, and then you kind of even out. You're like, oh, this is growing. It's going to be a next big thing. You just have to know it inside of you. And the last news has helped us tremendously. BBC yesterday, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, they published new findings about light therapy, how it helps with circadian clock. There's a Stanford group doing a lot of research. So it's becoming mainstream, and we've been doing it for the last 2 years. So this is great news. We're way ahead of the time. You're a lot ahead, for sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a little bit, but can you tell me more about who are you working with when it comes to the methodology and the science? Sure.
So the biggest sleep clinic in the U.S., Henry Ford Hospital, we've been doing clinical trials with them on a sample of 50 people that trying to adjust their body clock to shift working. So those are the night shift or day shift. So they're trying to do a full shift. So that was a clinical trial done there. So this is our biggest partner in terms of the efficacy of the product. When you look at academic journals, there's lots of them published, and I could show you some slides. The mask back in the sleep clinics was very clunky and big, and
I remember, yes.
Yeah, and then it grew, and nobody took it to consumer. So they've been using it in the clinics. We want to be the first wearable that actually has an effect on you. And keep in mind, this is a non-invasive therapy, right? So it doesn't require FDA approval. We're looking to become a medical product eventually. It's just a longer route to do so. But it's non-invasive. Light is a natural component.
What are your plans when it comes to product development? Are you planning to produce new versions of masks, or are you mostly focusing on scaling it to sell more units?
Sure, a little bit of both. We're already working on the V2. Based on the feedback, we wanted to push it out. So people start using it, see what features they use the most. If you look at the website, there's a variety of things you can do with the mask. And tweak the app, make it better, constantly improving the look, make it a little bit more sexy. This is a working product. You have different fronts. So work in progress, think of it as the Oculus One, I guess. So there's a lot more that you'll see in the next iterations. We're entering Amazon soon, so in a couple weeks you should be able to buy us on Amazon in the US.
Awesome.
We're entering, I don't know if I can say that, I think so, the different e-commerce sites in Japan. Japan is a big market for us again. Yeah.
How much does your mask cost?
It is $299, so it's a premium product, and then shipping varies depending on where you are. So $300, it's comparable to other devices in this space. There's a lot of tech involved, a lot of R&D that we had to do. We really want to lower the price eventually. Just early manufacturing with scale will be able to do that.
And where can we buy it?
You can buy it Neuroon.com. on our website. Hopefully in a couple weeks, 2 weeks, I hope, on Amazon in the US, and hopefully retail stores in some time, depending on how much time it will take to sign the contract. We've delivered about 1,000 units, so we're shipping on schedule about 100 units a day. We're trying to ship them out from Poland. So hopefully, if you haven't received yours, talking to the backers and so on, you'll get it soon.
Tomasz, thank you so much for joining me today. It was such a pleasure having you. We should all go to neuroon.com to buy the mask and to find more information about it, and to Amazon in the near future as well.
Exactly. Great. Thanks so much. And I'll let you try and sleep with one tonight,
Thank you.
hopefully.
Can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks.